I am now being joined via Skype from the United Kingdom by an international affairs analyst, Dr. Bola Adediran, for a look into this dimension of violence in Afghanistan. Good to have you join us, Dr. Adediran.
Thank you for having me.
The Taliban came to power through violence, but with a promise of peace and safety in that country. It felt like, that promise of we are the ones who can protect you, and yet we're seeing these levels of attack. What do you make of it?
Well, it is very sad because clearly the ordinary Afghan civilians are once again caught in between a war between the Taliban on the one hand and what apparently seems to be the ISIS in Afghanistan, in the Khorasan province. And I said it's unfortunate because for over 20 years, the ordinary Afghanistan has been caught in between the larger war between the Taliban on the one hand and the US and the Allied forces for a long time. And there was an anticipation that once Afghanistan unites under the leadership of the Taliban, that the spate of violence would reduce and ordinary Afghanistans can go about their daily work. And it seems that this is not going to be the case. You said in your report that no individual, no group has taken responsibility, but there are great indications that this is the work of ISIS-K. Remember that in August 26th this year, just about the time when the US was evacuating its personnel from Afghanistan, we had a bombing episode at the Kabul airport that claimed scores of lives, and so there is a remarkable evidence to show that this is the work of ISIS-K, and this is obviously.
And just to quickly jump in here, because of that attack at the Kabul airport and the attack now at the Kabul Mosque, what does that tell you about the significance of the threat that Afghanistan might face in the coming days and coming months?
I think that's the very worrying part of this episode, partly because what we've seen historically is that ISIS has always been capable of stepping into vacuums, security vacuums, leadership vacuums. Remember that when the US exited Iraq, one of the major beneficiaries of that episode was ISIS. ISIS was able to not only foment violence, but it was able to establish itself, and it declared the Islamic province, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. And this is the growing concern here, that the exit of the US from Afghanistan obviously opens up sort of a lacuna that would allow ISIS to consolidate itself. I mean, ISIS declared ISIS' first entry into Afghanistan was in 2015. Over the years, it's through the coordination of Afghan forces and American efforts, its capacity in Afghanistan was severely depleted. 6 of its top commanders have been killed over the last 4 years or 5 years. But given that ability to coordinate with the American forces and to call in airstrikes that would target ISIS elements, would be depleted by the exit of the US from Afghanistan. There is a growing concern that ISIS might begin to reestablish itself as a result of the fact that there is a security vacuum.
And with banks closed, accounts freezed, one wonders the resources that the Taliban has to fight this security challenge. But it remains to be seen. Thank you so much for your time, as always, Dr. Bola Adediran.
Thank you very much.
And now to India, we to bring you a coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. In India, at least 8 people have been killed following violence, which broke out in the state of Uttar Pradesh. This was after a car linked to a federal minister ran over 2 farmers taking part in a protest against controversial farm Farmers Union. But still in India, experts, just to bring you that update in India there, and now to India with our coverage of the pandemic. Staying in Asia, India's top court has now approved the government's decision to pay some amounts as compensation for every COVID death. The Supreme Court's order followed a petition by lawyers seeking compensation under India's disaster management laws. The court added that the compensation should be paid within 30 days.